What's up, guys? My name is Khan and we're back today with more Scrap Mechanic, and today we're doing a build that we've done in Multiplayer Monday but I haven't really done properly on my own, and that is to build a sort of centipede type vehicle. So I really want to make a vehicle that can crawl all over the place and can crawl up the mountains and stuff and really kind of snake along. I kind of want to see if we can have all the back sections just kind of free floating and following the front section. Now, why I think this is going to be possible is because of the smart engines here. Now, for those of you who don't know, the smart engines are in the mod pack, and you can really customize these engines to do all sorts of crazy stuff. Now, the reason why this matters is we're going to have this sort of assembly connecting all the sections, and this is sort of a spring-loaded bearing, if you will. So we can actually hit this with a hammer, and you can see it will always go back to that 0 position. And if we hit it in the other direction, same thing. And we can, of course, customize how powerful this spring back reaction is and everything else. So it's really, really cool that we can just sort of use this to our advantage and make a spring-loaded type bearing mechanism. So what I want to do is have a bunch of these in between each section to make sure the sections kind of try and stay straight, but also are weak enough so that if it's rotated, it'll kind of stay that way. I don't want it to force itself back, but we can really kind of play around with the power, and hopefully we'll be able to just kind of steer the front and have everything follow along like a giant snake. So I think for this, we are going to use a modded seat, which is kind of invisible, but it gives us this nice sort of spot, and we can actually completely surround this with blocks as well, and it will make a difference. We'll just kind of glitch our character in. Perfect. Look at that. Now it looks like we're actually stuck in a cement block. And actually, if we make this a little bit bigger, now take a look. Perfect. Now we're encased in cement. This is like the Han Solo block, basically, at this point. So we should be able to put all the logic and stuff in the front and then just connect every other section up to the front and wire them all up to the same smart engine. So we're just gonna have one smart engine for forward and reverse, and that can be done pretty simply. And then we'll have another one to deal with all the spring back sort of stiffness things. Now, I want to make the wheels super, super derpy, so we're just gonna actually build wheels, and we're gonna just make sort of like a plus sign. Just like that. Perfect. And then on the other one, we'll do it in the other direction. All right, so then rounding them off, pretty much just gonna have this kind of little peg thing that'll move along. And this should be, I think, a pretty good wheel. And if we have a bunch of them, it should just be amazing. I'm not too worried about the bouncing around. And you know what? We can actually let's just round off the front a little bit. So to set up the first engine for the WS controls, we've just got our seat hooked into a WS converter, which then goes to a multiplication block that's painted white, which will set the speed. And then we've got a constant value here, and I believe we've got it set to 100 for now. So whenever we press W, this should go forward relatively slowly, which it does. Now, of course, we don't have any other sections, so this is not going to work out. It'll be better once we get more sections. All right, so a speed of 1,000, I think, is going to be a good spot. We can always adjust this later. For now, we'll just kind of keep this button up top, I guess. We can always remove it when we're done. And then to do the other side, we just really need 3 values going into the motor because it's always going to have a value of 0. So we give it a value of 0, and that's the position, which is orange. And then we give it another value, which is white, which is the speed at which we want it to move back to center, and that's that one there. And then the third one we give it is a power, which is black, and that determines how strong, basically how stiff the joint's going to be. So it's almost like your suspension stiffness. So right now these are all 0s, so it wouldn't do anything, but of course we're going to adjust that. So it has the ability to rotate in all 3 axes. Now, because they're all hooked into the same smart engine, you can see it should try and let it go to 0. All right, so we've got this disconnected, so we'll just build another real simple section here, and I think we'll keep it hollow just to make it lighter, and we should be good to go with something like that. And we just weld the first section right to the middle. Perfect. And then we just take this smart engine, connect it up again to all these 3. The direction shouldn't matter because it's just going to 0 regardless. And then this smart engine we hook up to the forward and back. Now, I think to steer it, we're going to remove this one and actually make this one controlled by our steering, so we can rotate the first 2 sections left and right of each other. And then the rest of them will just be done with the smart engine to act as sort of like a bearing suspension piece. So, oh, that looks great. That's actually awesome. Let's see if we can actually move forward here. So if we hold W, oh my goodness, this thing's amazing. We definitely need some downward thrust. Maybe we got to slow down the engines just a little bit and probably stiffen the joints between them. But you know what? This is actually going to work. I'm really confident in this, especially once we get it longer. All right, so this button controls the engine speed. We're just gonna reset it to 0. That was at a speed of 1,000. So let's go 500, like this. Okay, so it's a little bit slower. Oh, that looks much better. And then we're gonna need downward thrust as well. But I feel like once we get more and more sections, this is just gonna be even better. And look, we can actually still kind of turn. And the rest of the behind it will help push us around that turn. Oh, this is great. All right, you know what? Let's just weld up like another 8 sections at least to get this 10 long and see what happens. We haven't hooked any of them up yet, don't get me wrong, but surprisingly not as much of a frame rate killer as I thought it would be. This looks absolutely awesome though, with all the sections twisted individually, but let's get this kind of all bearing connected. You know, we'll remove this at the end. There's no way we're making this bigger. There's just gonna be too much lag. And we'll round off this back section. All right, excellent. That's looking so much better now. Now all we gotta do is, you know, just connect everything up, I guess. So you'll actually notice that now that everything's connected up, it kind of straightens itself out a little bit. And if we increase the stiffness even more, we can actually get it to become completely rigid. So we can just keep jacking this up. We had it at 20 originally, but you can see now it's actually completely rigid because all those bearings are trying to all get to the 0 position. Now this one's kind of doing weird stuff. And you can see as we smack it, it'll go out of position, but it'll bounce back. Again, really cool stuff you can do with a smart engine, but we got to wire up all the forward and back and then definitely loosen that up again. I want it to free float over the terrain. We still need downward thrust for sure because I want to be able to climb up mountains and stuff, but let's just give this a test. So everything's connected. Every single set of wheels is powered. They should all move and we can only steer just at the front here. So if we turn, oh, look at that. All right, so let's see. Oh my goodness, this is magical. It actually kind of looks like a bug crawling. Get out of here. It's so, look at it go. It just crawls right over. That's so awesome. I mean, these legs are great and we can steer it. And the rest just kind of follows along. I mean, look at that. It just snakes. If we go, oh my goodness, this worked out so much better than I thought it was going to. Okay, we definitely, oh boy, no. No, look, the trail just keeps, it just follows and then eventually just flips over because all the smart engines are constantly trying to get it to go to 0. So as soon as it pushes, it just kind of wants to follow what the head did. This is absolutely awesome. All right, let's seal up the rest of this. We'll just kind of close that up. You just got to press E right in the middle there. Your head sort of sticks out. That's great. This is amazing. This is actually my new favorite build in Scrap Mechanic. All right, we need downward thrust for sure, and then we'll see if we can actually climb up stuff. Okay, so we've got thrusters now underneath each individual car. They're super, super low power, so hopefully it won't do too much. Now, we are going to kind of see some of that thruster effect, I guess, appear out the top, but we can always turn off the particles. And hopefully that'll give us the ability to wall climb as well as still be able to move. So here we go. This is without the thrusters. I absolutely love it without the thrusters. It's so derpy. Each individual section just kind of pushing its way along. The front gets tossed all over the place. Now, if we turn on the thrusters with the 1 switch, okay, it definitely keeps us planted on the ground a little bit more. I flipped over. No, we're flipped. The sections just keep pushing. Okay, we can't, it's not powerful enough to flip us back. Okay, let's try and turn on the thrusters here and see if we can go up. Now, of course, you're probably saying, well, Con, maybe if you used actual wheels instead of, you know, this weird walking mechanism, you might make it a little bit better. And that's true, but I really wanted to do weird stuff like this. I don't think the thrusters are powerful enough. I think we need just a little bit more power on the thrusters. It wants to walk up, but you can see the thruster, it's not even enough to really keep it planted. Yeah, so let's just increase all the thrusters a little bit, and then we should be able to do this, I think, no problem. Go up. You can do it. Perfect. It's looking good. Looking good. Oh yeah, this is the spot. This is the magic number right here. Look at the whole back. When you start to lose a little bit of traction, it just can't, it can't push it. I mean, it should be able to do it. We're bouncing along. It's just because we don't really have a good form of traction. But look at this. We can make it. We can climb. And then once we get uphill, can we turn this off, I think? We should be able to turn this off and still walk, right? Look at that. Perfect. I love how the section just snakes behind it. I love how it follows rather than actually, you know, being controlled. With the last Centipede car we made, every section turned instead of just the front two. So whenever you turn, every section would turn with it. But with this one, you can actually kind of snake it, and it works. And look at that. If we turn on the thrusters, we can actually just walk up this hill. This is the dumbest creation but it's so cool. It just, again, the only reason I thought of this build is because I was playing around with the smart engines and was thinking about the fact that you can use the smart engine as a bearing suspension piece almost. So it's like the bearings in the middle have suspension on them without actually having to put suspension pieces on them, which allows us to do stuff like this. If these were all free bearings, it wouldn't work as well because the back pieces would just kind of all go haywire and wouldn't really try and steer towards the front. But because they're, you know, all just kind of working together, you still get that snake sensation, but it still kind of works as an actual vehicle as well. You know what? Let's see if we can drive right off this cliff. I don't think we can. But let's, oh, we got to pile up. Hold on, there we go. Perfect. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, boy. Oh, this is not good. Oh, are we doing it? Oh, it works. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, now we definitely have to turn particles off. Oh, that's amazing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's just not enough. No, we fell. Uh-oh. It's just enough now to flip itself back over. That's great. That's so awesome. So you can turn on the thrusters, and if we turn them off, see that blue glow goes away. But if we turn them on, we can actually flip ourselves back over. It almost was able to climb down that hill, but just not enough. I don't know if we can even climb up it. Probably not. Can we go up this? Oh my god, no, I tried. It was close. We might be able to do it. It's really, really hard because each of the sections sort of has a mind of its own, even though they're all technically controlled. Oh, we're doing it. Look at it go. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. No. See, we're at the flying point now with the thrusters, so we're pretty much maxed out to where it can be. It is cool though, the thrusters now, they'll actually flip the sections back over when they fall, and it still walks super, super derpy. But definitely love this build. I'm not gonna lie, it's so much fun, and I can think of a few different things too I want to do with the smart engines. But of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I will upload this to the workshop. It only uses the mod pack, and again, it only really uses it for those one block thrusters and for the smart engines. But the smart engines are just so cool what you can do with it. Make a really, really stupid looking centipede thing that actually can just climb pretty much wherever it wants. And I mean, it's so cool that, oh, we're stuck. Can we, there we go, perfect. But definitely leave me suggestions for other crazy builds or just crazy ideas in the comments down below. And while you're at it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're just a tumbling mess here. It's perfect. That actually was awesome. You just turn the thrusters off, it falls down, and then you turn them back on, you're good to go. This thing is so much fun just to kind of randomly drive around. It just kind of crawls everywhere. It's absolutely stupid. It's not quick, but I mean, definitely a cool little dinky build. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.